Point of view is the perspective which the story is being told from. It also includes the distance in which the narrator is to the characters. Point of view is the perspective which the story is being told from. It also includes the distance in which the narrator is to the characters. So how do we distinguish points of view and the distance of the narrator? You can identify first person by the I and my statements used. The second person are going to be you statements. Third person will be she, he, or they. And third can either be in close, distant, or omniscient. Now, first or close third is what you're probably used to with the internal thoughts and following one character per scene. Genre and age group of the target audience should also be considered when evaluating POV. So for age groups, YA is usually in first and third. Adult is usually in third. Romance, we're usually in close third. Sci-fi and fantasy can be written in almost any of them. Mystery and thriller are usually close or distant third, and literary is distant third or omniscient. These are just generalities, not strict rules. Your novel may fall into the adult category and you write it in first person, and that's fine as long as it works for the book. Tone involves how the story is presented. Grim topics can be addressed with a lighter attitude, and light topics with a dismal outlook. There are many options to these, but the tone sets the mood and evokes the feel of the novel. Point of view and tone are usually set up in the first sentence, so let's look at some examples of that. My philosophy is simple. Any day nobody's trying to kill me is a good day in my book. So here the author uses my philosophy, so it's set up to be in first person. Anytime the narrator uses I or my without it being an internal thought, it's in first person. See how the author is taking a lighter approach to serious topics? The character has this snarky attitude that sets up the tone for humorous yet compelling novel due to their lives being in danger a lot. The Night Circus is a great example of second person, where the narrator places the reader directly into the scene. What kind of circus is only open at night, people ask. No one has a proper answer, yet dusk approaches and there is a substantial crowd. You are amongst them, of course. Your curiosity got the better of you. So here we have like a witty narrator, and we know this by the use of course, and your curiosity got the better of you. This sets up a cunning feel and a light humorous tone. Cormac McCarthy's The Road has third person established with dark tone and yet warmth. When he awoke in the woods in the dark and the cold of the night, he'd reach out to touch the child sleeping beside him. This warmth is created by a sleeping child, yet the setting is dismal and dark and cold. So the author creates warmth, yet a dark tone and setting for the novel. Sometimes third person omniscient works, though it is hard to get right. So this is something you're going to want to watch for when the author is using omniscient. It's Friday in early March in Beartown. Nothing has happened yet. Everyone is waiting. Tomorrow, the Beartown Ice Hockey Club's junior team is playing the semifinal of the biggest tournament in the country. Now notice how the author knows what everyone is doing and has been doing and what they are going to be doing tomorrow. With omniscient, we can get insight into the character's individual actions as well as group actions. But there is going to be no internal dialogue revealed. So for the most part, no italics are going to be used. Most of us aren't exposed to omniscient often, so I suggest reading books written in this point of view to understand the concepts and the techniques. At the end of this lesson, I will provide a list of omniscient works if you'd like to look into them. As you're editing, consider if the book would be better from a different perspective. Ask if getting closer to the character and their problems would work better, or if taking a step away into third or omniscient would make the book stronger. Try changing a few scenes and then think about if it makes the story better, but think about it for a while, as a change in perspective means a rewrite. But if a change in perspective feels right to get your message across to your readers more effectively, then it should be done. One last thing I wanted to address is head hopping in first, close, or distant third. It's important to watch for places where the point of view shifts within a scene. Now, shifts can be either slight or harsh. Harsh shifts can create what I call head hopping whiplash, which causes confusion in the reader and can push them right out of the book. Here's an example of a hard shift. Star looked at Adam, heat flushing her cheeks. I hope he doesn't catch on to just how much he hurt me. He crossed his arms and waited for her to calm herself. She's a lost cause. Her skin felt hotter as rage built, and she struggled to keep control. When she was just about to let go, Cal stepped in, putting his arm between them, stopping the impending fight. So in the first sentence, we're in Star's thoughts. In the second one, we're in Adam's. Then we go back to Stara and know what's going on inside her. And then Cal enters, and we know what his intentions are to stop the fight. When the author writes what multiple characters thinking, it's head hopping. When they write what other characters' intentions are, it's more of a shift. Both should be avoided though. In this example, to stop the impending fight can be removed and the meaning is still clear. Here we might make a comment that it's a shift and suggest removing it, or maybe even changing it to Cal stepped in, putting his arm between them, stopping the impending fight. So that is another way to fix it. We would also make a comment where the author jumps from Star's thoughts to Adam's mind. You can suggest a rewrite of this section and possibly give an example. So we're into Star's thoughts, and then we go, he crossed his arms and her eyes burned into hers. Her skin got hotter as she struggled to keep control. Just when she was about to let go, Cal stepped in, shoving his arm between them. So with this example, we eliminated the head hopping and removed the intentions of Cal. Now, there can be a slight shift as well. I'm not sure I'm free tonight, I say, with my head down so Joe can't see my smirk. He pauses, questioning my seriousness. Since the first line is in first person, and especially since it's in present tense, it's impossible for the main character to know what Joe is thinking, why he is standing there looking at them. Even if it were in third person past tense, the narrator shouldn't know what both characters are thinking. So, I'm not sure I'm free tonight, he said with his head down so Joe couldn't see him smirk. Joe paused, questioning Mark's seriousness. We still have the issue with the shift because the narrator knows Joe's intentions when Mark is the main character. This is incredibly important, and shifts can be difficult to catch. So when it's in first and third, we're going to have to keep in mind if the main character can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, or know it, then the narrator can't either. So during the developmental edit, we need to pay attention to these and mark them when these shifts happen. When editing, question whether the point of view and tone are best for the novel. When it comes to point of view shifts, leave a comment and possibly a thought on how they can be altered to make them better. That's it for point of view and tone. I'm giving you a list of recommended readings for omniscient point of view if you want to get a little more insight into this perspective. I'll see you in the next lesson where we discuss the message.